All right, so we're here on another Couch Coach Live. Talking a little Richmond Kickers soccer this week. My guy Yogi, what's going on, man?
Not much, man. How are you? I just want to say, the budget on the show has definitely gone up since the last time I've been on. Now we got intro videos, we got NBA highlights. Woo! I got to step my stuff up, man.
Hey, it has, sometimes it be like that. Sometimes, hey, little tweaks in the system, but hey, we gotta keep it a little bit,
I understand, man. But it's great. It's glad to be on.
Yeah. My brother from the South Side. What's going on, man?
Nothing much, man. Like, school year's getting ready to wrap up. Kicker season is starting. European season is starting to wrap up. So it's kind of cool. Things are kind of working its way out. And Tennessee now has a quarterback controversy, which is hilarious.
That I find it very funny, especially with the comments with Ryan Tannehill pretty much saying, "Hey, I'm not here to be his mentor," and I'm like, "You kind of is."
Yeah, I mean, I get what he's saying because he also is just like, he knows he's on borrowed time. So if he come out and say like, "Oh, hey, I'm here to be the mentor," then effectively we gonna treat him like Kerry Collins, and after game 6, all right, he's gonna sit his ass down.
Right.
So I get it. He's like, yo, I'm still competitive. And I still think Tannehill is a above average quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
But my thing is, when it comes to him, is definitely turnovers, and does he have big game experience? And I think he lacks in those two.
Yeah. So, before we talk some kickers, your thoughts on Malik Willis coming to Tennessee?
So I actually did not even think about him. Because I didn't think we had a chance of drafting him.
Yeah.
I didn't. I honestly was like, all right, if we do get a quarterback, I was like, it's probably going to be Desmond Ridder because he's the one I thought that was going to drop to us because I had Malik going in the first round.
Yeah.
So I was just like, all right, we'll go get Riddler. And then there was still the Kobe Dean floating around. I'm like, yo, F a quarterback, go get the Kobe. Like, that's a sure flame Hall of Famer. But I think it was a solid draft. I think the AJ Brown trade definitely took me by surprise. But the more I started to realize what was going on and what the team was trying to do, I think there was like a $4 or $5 million gap difference. Yeah. And they were just like, yo, we'll give you 16 with incentives. He wanted 24 straight, and they just couldn't meet up in the middle. I mean, I have no problem with it. Go get your money.
Hey, all right, because you too rich for my blood.
Right. Go get your money. I got no problem with it.
Hey, especially now, the way the wide receiver market is now, like, hey, this is the best time to strike it while the iron is hot. So,
right.
Why not?
Right, definitely.
Why not?
Definitely.
Yeah. So, we like you talked about earlier, you talk about, as far as like the kicker season officially kind of like kicked off. So I really want to know your thoughts on pretty much this first month of the season thus far.
I think this first month of the season's been really well. I think the kickers have been solid. You had 2 Open Cup games against NC Fusion, U23, and against Nova FC, 2 very physical teams. And I think that helped prepare the kickers for the USL League One season. Unfortunately, we did drop points against Chattanooga, but that game, when you go back and look at that game, the kickers really could have won that game or got a draw out of it. It's just unfortunate the ref decided to call a headed clearance. He called it off, and Chattanooga goes down to score. But outside of that, I think they've been fine. I think the biggest surprise thus far is Matt Bentley, just proving that he's a quality scorer, and that's something the kickers have lacked in years past.
Yeah, and like you said, and at this point, they're first place in the league so far. So, like this has been, pretty much, pretty good first month for them. So
yeah.
And even to kind of piggyback to your episode this week. So obviously we got 3 games in 7 days. Obviously, Forward Madison, Charlotte FC, Union Omaha, and within that 7-day period. Just your thoughts on just this grind that Richmond is gonna endure in these next 7 days potentially.
Outside of the away stretch near the later part of the season, I think this is probably the toughest stretch of the year. And the reason why I say that is because you're playing a rivalry team in Forward Madison. You got an MLS team coming Wednesday, and you have the defending USL League One champions, and all of these are home games. And just think about it, like we always talk about it, is momentum. The momentum of winning those 3 games is huge. Like that's stating, stating something. You go out here and lose those 3 games, man. Like the whole perception of the team changes from optimism and hope to like, is something wrong? Like what's going to happen? So I think it is going to be a grind. We were talking about it on the show, me and Matt, and we were just like, what's going to be Darren's biggest? What is Darren going to put his most energy into? Is he going to go full out for the U.S. Open Cup, where you got a team like Charlotte FC, who presumably is going to rotate? They're coming off of the road against Inter Miami. Are they going to rotate for that game? Or do you be like, all right, let's focus on the 2 league games, Forward Madison and Union Omaha, and we'll pay attention to the U.S. Open Cup game, but we'll play more reserves, more backups for that, and have a more conservative type of game plan. So it's difficult. It's hard to see. I think Forward Madison is a team who's definitely there for the get-in. I mean, they haven't had a win yet. They're at 3 draws, 1 loss. And kind of in the games, they haven't looked super convincing. I mean, some they have, but they haven't looked convincing as a whole. Union Omaha is still a team that's learning how to gel. And I think the biggest part of why the Kickers have been so successful this year is just the continuity. This team brought back 12 to 13 players from last year's roster. That's not including guys that they brought in. But just having that kind of continuity, you're not having to teach 12, 13 guys the system again. You can kind of go into the next level and be like, all right, you 12 guys, now you can go teach your next position group while Darren's trying to massage in new tactics and new things in their squad. So, I mean, the 3 to 7 game stretch is going to be tough. I mean, it's hard to figure out how he's going to play it. If I had to bet, I think he's going to focus a little bit more on the league, have a couple of those rotation guys for Charlotte FC. If he gets to 60 minutes, he starts bleeding into starters. And then against Union Omaha, I think it's back to normal game plan.
Yeah, because I know like a lot, like the biggest thing I know when I talked to Darren most in those 2 games was more so like getting guys rest and kind of getting guys off their legs, and even what we thought at that time, especially the last home game where that was, we call that like the war of attrition, that that extra time and just giving giving the guys an opportunity to get some rest. I know I think one of the weeks we played, they was trying to more so of just get these guys some rest for a few days and then let's get back to it. So like you said, that's definitely going to be a very interesting of how that plays out.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be very interesting to see how it plays out, because I think the biggest thing is we've been 2 years without U.S. Open Cup soccer. So every coach that's been hired for the last 2 years haven't had to manage their team with expectations of here's another cup competition. It's always been just focus on the league, focus on the league, focus on the league. So you're kind of building your roster for that, and you're not worried about rotation, getting guys in. Now with the U.S. Open Cup in, it kind of throws out that balance a little bit, because now you have to think like, all right, most coaches will tell you, oh, we're focused on one game at a time, we're focused on the next game ahead of us. But we know that's not true. They got to think about all the games that's coming up and how to manage minutes and how to get guys prepared and ready. So, yeah, it's going to be tricky. But I think Darren's up for the task of doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. And, yeah, it's definitely going to be very interesting. So, and you've come on the show multiple times, and we've always talked about the Henny Derby, essentially.
Yes.
So, this would be my first experience in it, because I know we talked about it last year. I think I might have was a little bit too late to the party at the time.
Yeah. So the Henny Derby.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The Henny Derby is basically the rivalry between us and Forward Madison. As you can guess, is over a bottle of Hennessy. It started over a bet. It's kind of just growing into this whole thing. But I think the significance of the rivalry is that. So I don't know. I'm one for weird stats and weird statistics when it comes to sports. So every coach that has lost to Henny Derby has been fired that following year. So Richmond lost to Henny Derby year 1. David Bulow gets fired. Year 2, Forward Madison loses to Henny Derby. Their manager gets fired. Year 3, Forward Madison loses to Henny Derby. Their coach gets fired. So it's kind of like this trend where the losing coach gets fired, and the team that wins it finishes in a higher position than the team, because the points are so important. You know, you're kind of always talking about like a 6-9 point swing in the throw of things in the league that is right now. I think the last time I counted, you had 5 teams tied for first and 4 teams tied for third. That's how tight this league is right now. You know, the Kickers are top of USL League One, but that's basically off of like goal differential at this point. It is still too hard to tell like who's gonna win what. So I think like winning this Henny Derby, like I said earlier, like winning this game could be huge and momentum wise.
Yeah, and like you said, and then like I know because I know it was in was it October last year that you had the Derby.
Oh yeah.
And the crowd, and I seen it because obviously you had the pictures and the crowd and all that. So like what I'm saying, that's definitely gonna be something to definitely look forward to.
Yeah, man, it's definitely something huge to look forward to, man. Like I will say, I think the Henny Derby is definitely one of the top lower league experience out there for any fan, just because it's unique. You know, it's a black supporter group derby. Which is unique in itself. And I also think like just the atmosphere around it. Like this is the first time we get back to tailgate. We haven't been able to tailgate properly in 2 years because of the pandemic, which is still going on, but it's a little bit safer. If you haven't got vaccinated, please get vaccinated. So I think like that's important. Hey, we get to get back to tailgating. The players love it themselves because the players are this is like the main thing they are talking about. Like they know like we gotta win this derby. We have to be Forward Madison. It's kind of like the cliche saying of you can go 0-28, but you gotta be forward. We don't care about you have to be forward. It is just like bragging rights. Like we have beat them the last 2 years. We have to keep doing it. So that's kind of what it is at this point.
So y'all tailgating?
Oh yeah, man, of course. Of course. Look, anyone that wants to come out, experience soccer in the South, tailgate is going to be a part of it. That's the unique thing about soccer in the United States is like we tailgate. So normally, like if you go over to other countries, you go to the pub, you go to the bar, have drinks beforehand. In the South, we treat it like a football game. We out there 2 hours before time, cooking hot dogs, making food, sharing beers, music is playing. Like that's the kind of thing it is. And so to get back to that is huge. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to be to a tailgate yet because I've been on the road for almost every home game outside of the one that we had. And that one I even showed up late because I just got out of grad class. It's amazing at the fact of what this club is representing, you know, and what the culture of soccer could be if, you know, once you grow it out.
That's definitely that's definitely gonna be an experience, like you said, because normally, like because we always talk about like how, especially just how these type of events we need to embrace these type of events and be a part of these type of events, especially with us being local Richmonders, like born and raised guys here. So, like you said, it's definitely looking forward to being a part of that. That's definitely really exciting. But So and we talked about obviously the Saturday match against and just your thoughts before we get into that. So shout out for the link that you gave for the draw. That was exciting. I'm not gonna front. That was really exciting. Like
It has very NCAA tournament vibes, doesn't it?
It sure did. And then the envelopes, and then look, I forgot. I said I was gonna remember her name. It was like Lil Harley or something. I forgot her name. Yeah. And she pulled that card. I was like, yes, because at first I was like, okay, if they go into Atlanta, I got an excuse to go to Atlanta. But then when they pulled it home and then Charlotte FC, I was like, oh, this is perfect.
So when the draw happened, where was that at? Was I off? I think I was off. Yeah, I was off because I was at a conference.
Yeah.
So I made an excuse. I didn't go to the conference. I was like, yo, I'm going to watch this draw. I'm going to watch this draw. And I got boys in Atlanta. So funny enough is, too, me and my wife are also Charlotte FC fans because she's from Charlotte.
Mm-hmm.
So when she heard they had an MLS team, she was like, well, this is my buy into soccer. So eventually to her, like, I got to, go watch Charlotte FC and support the same club as her. So the round before that, when it was, I think, us, NC Fusion, Greenville, and Charlotte, I was like, yo, there's a possibility we could get Greenville. But then when they said Charlotte couldn't host, I was like, well, NC Fusion can host, so then it's us in Greenville. And then we got NC Fusion, they got Charlotte. So now this round, it was us, Atlanta, Charlotte, and someone else. I can't remember who the other team was. But when they did the draw, was that Tormenta? I can't remember what the other team was. But when they did the draw, and they said, what did they say? They said Charlotte couldn't host.
Host, yeah.
I was like, oh snap, we can really host the whole game. And then Atlanta got picked, and I was like, oh snap! I just need the next card to be Richmond. And then they picked Richmond, and I lost it.
Yes.
And then she pulled Charlotte for Richmond. And dude, I stood up and like it's people won't like understand the feeling of like a lower league side drawing an MLS side.
Yeah.
Like it's almost like David versus Goliath. Like this is like you put it in NCAA tournament terms. This is pretty much the 5-11 matchup. Like, we're not supposed to beat them. They're supposed to cruise, move on. They're supposed to get dusted next round. And I'm like, yo, if there's any game set up for Darren to win, it's this game. Like, this is, I swear, like, Darren's teams to me are some of the most mystifying teams because he plays the same brand of soccer no matter what. Like, no matter if he's like, look at the last two Open Cup games. We're supposed to dominate those. We win both of those 1-0.
Yeah.
Both teams have better possession than us. But Darren's whole thing is, like, I'm not going to change based on the opponent we're playing. So I'm going to sit low. I'm going to allow you to possess the ball 30, 40 years up the field. I'm going to give you low-quality shots. I'm not going to just open myself up because I think I'm better than you. And that's kind of like the smart thing that us as fans.
Yeah.
We want to see possession. We want to see the tricks, but that's not how Darren plays it. And I think that, like, that's the best thing to do against Charlotte FC. It's like, give the ball to Charlotte FC and see if they can create. Like, you're not playing. You pretty much have nothing to lose.
Yeah.
Because you go out here and lose 2-0 or 3-0. All right, bet. It's an MLS team. Like, they got the roster. They got the money. Like, Christian Fuchs is probably making as much as the entire Kickers roster. Yeah. All right, it is what it is. But if you go out here and win or take this team to extra time or penalty kicks, man.
It goes a long way.
Yeah, like, it goes a long way.
And I remember, like, it's kind of remind me, I remember when Crystal Palace came. Remember when Crystal Palace came to the stadium? Like, oh, God, it's probably been, probably about 6-7 years ago. Probably about 15. 15, might have been like 15. I forgot what year it was. 16, something.
Yeah.
But
no, 17.
17.
18, we had Espanol. So, yeah, it was 17.
God, all these years run together at this point.
Right, man. Right. Anything past the pandemic is all 2000.
Right, exactly. But yeah, when like you said, when I heard that draw, I was excited as well because like Charlotte's that new FC team, and you see how they pack out Bank of America Stadium that first night, and it's just like there's buzz. And then I was like, oh, that, or even going to Atlanta, going to the Mercedes Benz with the top open, with the top down, and at the Benz, and ooh.
And I remember who the other team was. It was Nashville.
Oh,
and I was like, oh, because the thing is, I got boys at each club.
Yeah, okay.
So out of my whole group of friends, like it's a bunch of us, like we're all black, but I'm the only one that supports a lower league team. Like I'll tell everyone, like it's lower league, like this is my team. I'm Richmond Kickers, not MLS. I don't go like openly support DCs, Richmond Kickers. So all my boys was like, yo, E, like what's good? Like, you coming? And I was like, bro, like I'll wait till the draw. So with Nashville, I think Nashville got Atlanta at home. So I was like, well, darn, that's it. And then my boys from Charlotte hit me up, and they was like, yo, we coming up, like we breaking the bus, like what's good? Like it's crazy, man. It's crazy because this is like the only time like you get to see these bigger teams come into your stadium. Yep. And I expect it to be like a sold out event for the Kickers. Like, you know, it's a big event because you got an MLS team coming. You got like guys that used to play in the Premier League and La Liga coming to little old Richmond, Virginia, and play at a USL game in the middle of May. Like that's crazy.
Yeah, coming on down to the mystique, the majestic City Stadium.
right,
yeah.
Like it's crazy. It's crazy, man. Like I've seen people like, oh, you know, this is an easy winnable game for the Kickers. And I'm like, all right. Don't get messed up. There's been a couple of teams that came to City Stadium and got tripped up because they ain't respected.
Yep. Hey, it's going. Yeah, City Stadium gonna be rocking next Wednesday night for sure. That's gonna be fun. That is definitely gonna be a interesting, historic night.
Crazy. It's gonna be crazy with the Kickers there, man. Like with the Red Army too. And this is the thing. Like these are the kind of games that the Red Army get up for. Like we already get up for the little games, but you like Section O might be packed wall to wall.
Yeah.
And don't let us get a lead. Oh buddy.
Boy.
We might mess around and tear the stadium down that night.
Yo. I just know I gotta get my selfie in at some point during the match, be around all the Red Army, you know, taking the ambiance.
Right. Like it's gonna be a crazy experience, man.
Yes. Definitely looking forward to that as well. But yeah, man. So we got a lot of great things going on with the Kickers coming up. You know, like we talked about the gauntlet of the 3 games and then just the success so far. So what's your expectations in this 3-game stretch and also just for the month of May? What you think?
So my expectations for the Kickers, I think me and Matt both came to the conclusion like anywhere between 7 points is fine. Mm-hmm. You know, it's not like it's unrealistic to think like you're gonna go out there and win every game. Would that be great? Awesome. That would give me so less stress and heartburn. But just being realistic, like the Kickers this month, you got Forward Madison, Charlotte FC, Union Omaha, and then you end the month on 2 road games. And you know, if you watch the Kickers in years past under Darren, the biggest MO has always been on the road. And how does Darren manage that? How does this team not get, you know, too lackadaisical, not get too ahead of themselves on the road and lose their composure? So yeah, anywhere between 7 points I think is fine. I would love a good cup run, you know, to push it on for another week. But if it comes to end, I want to see us be competitive, and I'll be fine with that. I think the 2 biggest games out the month, oddly enough, aren't the Forward Madison and the Union Omaha game because they're at home. I think the 2 biggest games of the month are definitely the 2 road games, just because you're playing against an FC Tucson team that, granted, we played them first week of the season for nothing, but we haven't beat them at their home the last 2 games, and we've been dominated. And then NCFC, a place that last year we couldn't do anything against them. So to see, you know, if we can get those 2 wins, maybe a draw in the Henny Derby, you might lose the Union. extra time or penalties against LSC, it'll be a B+ month for me. It'll be a positive month for me thus far.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll put a ball in this week's Kickers Talk. So definitely appreciate you for coming through. Just plug away social media. I know you got something else going on too, that you're trying to do, like something to like raise some money. I've seen a little bit of that. Talk about that as well. Kind of plug that in as well, man.
Yeah. So thanks for that. So definitely me and Mark Chenum. He runs the Cheap Movement. We're working with the Richmond Kickers to raise money for local artists so they can create custom warm-up jerseys for the Richmond Kickers that will be sold at a later date. And that money that's being sold from the warm-up jersey will go to making a youth soccer cap that focuses primarily on Black and brown youth here in the city of Richmond. So giving those kids that normally don't have the experience of playing youth soccer, giving them the experience to go and play it. So that's what we're working on there on that front. So definitely keep tuned to the socials, so you can keep an eye on that. The other thing is that we are working on is the Red Army itself. Tomorrow, we're releasing a supporters group jersey that's going on sale. So definitely keep an eye on that. And then last thing is, I just created my own website for the podcast. So go check us out at podpage.com/RiverCity93, all one word. And you can check out our articles there, latest podcasts, go back and look at some of the archives of past players, things like that. So it's pretty dope.
Yeah. Once again, always a pleasure to have you coming on. I always, now you're like our honorary cousin. So we got a few cousins.
That's how it works in the South. Like everyone's your cousin at some point. It doesn't matter where. Like, oh, you're just my cousin.
It's almost like at this point, if you're a 3-show minimum, you are cousins. So
right. That's how it works. That's how it works.
So yeah, you definitely one of the cousins here on Couch Coach Live. We got a couple of cousins, but yeah, you can't have enough. You can't have enough cousins around. So we put you in that cousin category for sure.
Most definitely, man. I appreciate it, man. It's always a pleasure coming on here, man, and talking about good sports going on in the city.
I know, right? Yeah, man. # support RVA sports, man. Like I want to push that narrative as well too. Like, because we, hey, this is our city. Even though we're from the different side of the river, but hey, we here.
Right. Like I be trying to people are like, oh, Richmond got no sports. Richmond got no sports that you're aware of. There's a lot of sports going on here.
And it's always been, but I think the biggest issue is like the lack of support of it. So because we got sports all across it, albeit, we got the Kickers, we got the Flying Squirrels, we got a robust high school football. Right. Where a lot of guys now going to the NFL. People think about the 757 is supposed to be like this breeding ground of talent. Yeah, when we were kids, but now, as an adults, like this 804 is producing talent that make an impact on Saturdays and on Sundays. Not just Fridays, but yeah. So yeah, Richmond is a slept on giant.
It is. It most definitely is, man. But we keep doing the good work. People will start to understand it and love it.
Yep. And that's what we're going to continue to do. Support our local teams. And, hey, just keep pushing those positive narratives. And, hey, people always think Richmond, like you say, ain't nothing to do in Richmond. It ain't nothing, no sports. We need a sports team. We need this. We got some stuff. Yeah. You just need to pay attention.
Right. That's all it is. Just pay attention. Like, it's there. Just go support it. Just go watch it. Try something different. It doesn't hurt.
Right. And
you can't say go eat it if you never tried it.
Correct. Exactly. But yeah, so definitely once again, appreciate you for coming on. And we'll do this again probably the next few weeks. Talk about, maybe recap May and also preview June as well. So definitely want to at least try to have you on monthly at least. The minimum is monthly. So, But
no problem, man.
We'll get something going with that.
No problem, man. All right.
Yeah, man.
Hey,
definitely
appreciate you having me on, man. You have a great rest of the day, all right?
All right, you too, man. You take care, and we out.